Self-made, independent, ho, I'm all about my businesses. I consistently continue to bring energy and know that keep it popping like I'm full of electricity. Try to hold me out, I wish you would have the audacity. Take a rap laxative, now I'm shitting on the industry. Self-made, not a title, cause it's my identity. And wear it on my skin like it's a part of my ethnicity. Mary keep on blowing like instruments in a symphony. They keep a player buzzing like Twitter when you mention me. Being 100's a everyday living tendency. And ain't faced by hating, it makes me increase my intensity.
YouTube world, what it do? Back again one time for your boy. Y'all know what it is. The one man, four sides and flavor of DFW sports. Just a super fan from the DFW land, not an expert or anything like that. Just a fan that's, rooting for his hometown teams the best way that he can do, man. So y'all know it's a whole new another Cowboys edition. Still trying to shake the sickness right now. You know what I'm saying? I had a little brim because, if you've been following the Texas Rangers, it's been that kind of season, They're trying to make the comeback right now. That's what I keep looking back up at. But, I got a live for y'all today just to go over, the 53-man possibility roster for the Dallas Cowboys as they get ready to kick off their final preseason game of the 2025 season. They'll play this Friday down here at AT&T Stadium against the Atlanta Falcons. You already know Ben DiNucci. He done signed with the Falcons, so you're going to see an ex-Cowboy again at quarterback play against the Cowboys. And it's already been known that Joe Milton, he's going to get those reps and he's going to continue to start. I told y'all the last time we were live. Look, if y'all are trying to find a way to get out from Dak Prescott's contract, from, basically all that money, well, you're going to have to go through this growing pain of actually figure out what you have. I don't agree with it, but hey, it is what it is. So we're going to go give a look down at the roster. We got the whole look of the roster, but we're looking to see what's the projected 53 in just my opinion, who I think who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. So if y'all want to go ahead and join the chat up in here, if you're not subscribe, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and hit that notification bell one time for your boy. And as well, if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, follow me at Drewski Self-Made. Man, I'm still kind of shaking the sickness, but we getting up in there. Tomorrow is a busy day as the Cowboys will be having open practice for the public down here at the Star. And the Cowboys, Netflix will be airing Jerry Jones's what, the gambler and his Cowboys, all that type of stuff. So you got that all going into play. But, let's just take a good dig deep into this roster real quick. Let's see. We got a lot of pages up. Let's see. We got a lot of pages up. No, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I wanted. That was not the one I wanted. Let's redo that. Let's refine that. Bingo. There we go. Nah, bro. What you doing? It still ain't right. Man, your boy having technical difficulty. Man, I'm still got sick, man. There we go. Now we on it. Where we got to look at, you know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and chime in real quick. Let me, pull my notes up as why he's looking at this game going to the bottom of the 8th inning. But how do y'all feel about the 53? I think we already know who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. Giving my little look at the 53. Let's see how it rocks. Looking at the quarterback position, unfortunately, you don't have a clear-cut number 2. So when you don't have a number 2, that means you're basically going to have to what? Possibly roll with 2 guys. That hurts you. Because if Joe Milton could ever shown some sign up in here, bruh, I think they're comfortable with trying to develop Joe Milton, and they would rather cut their losses with Will Grier. I think that is it, that they would hope that the upside is way much on a positive note than it would be just to roll out Will Greer. Because if you're really going to roll Will Greer out there as your backup quarterback, then you had no business getting rid of Cooper Rush. Even though I feel like, look, Cooper Rush, he's the same as Will Greer, to be honest with you. But, here's there. But since Joe Milton hasn't shown that he can really be that guy, and I don't think one preseason game is going to be enough for everybody to really believe that. So you're probably going to look at the Cowboys carrying 3 quarterbacks, most likely. Since he couldn't really hold that down and really pull that off, I see 3 quarterbacks rolling. Of course, Dak Prescott being the starter, and then you got Joe Milton and Will Greer. I think they were more willing to work with Joe Milton and let him get his reps. I think possibly from how they handled the Trey Lance situation, they don't want to do that again. So you can see them being very hands-on right now. The Cowboys want to be that type. Well, we got Tony Romo, who was undrafted. We found him. We found Dak Prescott. All that. They want to be saying, okay, Joe Milton landed in our lap, and we finally being able to develop something. And even if that was the case, you're still going to be in the same situations you always been in, because you're really not investing into your quarterback situation until it's too late. But yeah, I think we can clearly see that. Since you don't really have a clear number 2, you're going to roll with 3 quarterbacks. Running backs. Got a lot of them back there, don't you? Looking at the number-wise, how many running backs you really think they're going to carry? I don't think they're carrying 5 running backs. I see them trying to carry 4. And the way it looks, we believe Jaden Blue is going to be one of them. We believe Javonte Williams is going to be another. Now that leaves you with 2 spots. So, I like I said, I feel Jaden Blue will be there. Javonte Williams will be there. Like I said, I don't think they're carrying 5 running backs. I think they're only carrying 4. And with that being said, if Schottenheimer is really going to be about physical run play and all that type of stuff, I still think you got to keep Hunter Lupick on the squad. That's me personally. I think you got to keep Hunter Lupick there. He's got to be in that running back room. So now that leaves you room for 1 spot. That leaves you room for 1 spot. So who I got? Javonte Williams, I got Jaden Blue, and I got Hunter Lupick back there. Because you're gonna use him a lot. He can do multiple things for you too. So that's 3 spots, and you looking at the 4th spot. I like your Deuce Vaughn, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think he makes it. I don't know why they don't have him on the roster right here. But we saw with Miles Sanders. It looked good, but maybe he might stay just for the simple fact they paid him. Didn't they? Let me see in my notes. Yeah, see, that's I don't think Miles Sanders had his showing, and I don't think it went right. I really don't think it went right. I think he could have really did better. But trying to carry 4 running backs out of that situation, Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, Hunter Lupick, Deuce, I think you're gone. Oh, there go Miles Sanders right there. The only reason Miles Sanders would stay would be because of the money situation. I think. Now, I don't think they paid him that much. But Phil Maffa, I think we can all agree. He should be on the roster. Does he make it? Does he make it out of there? It's a toss-up. The way I see the Jones operate, they might just go ahead and go with Miles Sanders still. And hope that they can hold on to Phil Maffa like practice squad type. You know what I'm saying? Make it that way. Me personally, I would rather have Maffa in there. I would keep Maffa. I like what he bring. Mafa, Blue, you got that young combination like that. Why not go ahead and try to see how that works right now? That's what I would do. But I think they'll go 4 running backs. The 3 running backs you'll have will be Jaden Blue, Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and then you'll have Hunter Lupick as the fullback. Kind of what I'm guessing. Although, like I said, me personally, I would rather have Phil Maffa over Miles Sanders. Me personally. Now, how many receivers y'all think they're gonna get? Now, you already know. So three quarterbacks, 4 running backs. It's already a total of 7 right there. That's a total of 7. Let's go to the receivers. How many receivers y'all keeping, y'all? How many receivers you believe they're gonna be able to keep? It almost looked like 6 is gonna be that number. I wish it could be 7. Had you, possibly could have found out that you had a number 2. I believe you could, you know what I'm saying? One of these other positions you could do something extra with. But now that you got to roll 3 out there, here's your whole lineup of receivers right here from Trayshawn Holden, Jalen Moore and Cropper, George Pickens. Well, so we know George Pickens and we know CD Lamb. Those 2, I'm saying they're carrying 6 receivers. Those 2 right there, you already know. So basically, you got 4 spots. Ryan Flanoy, Kevontae Turpin is going to be another one of them. So that's 3. That's basically 50% of your receivers right there. So you really only got 3 spots open. And that's between Ryan Flanoy, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo. The news came out on him. What was it, a meniscus? They predicting he'll probably be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So you probably see him on the inactive list, the PUP list. So that probably gives you room to that. You know what? To be honest, that happening probably saved this guy right here, Jalen Tolbert. That probably saved him a spot on the roster. That most likely saved him a spot on the roster, Jonathan Mingo getting hurt and probably having to be on the PUP list. That's what I'm going to go with. So like I said, you got CD Lamb, you got George Pickens, and you got Kevontae Turpin. That's 3. Mingo, I felt was going to make it. Tolbert, I would rather take Trayshawn Holden and Ryan Flanoy over Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks. That's me. But most likely Mingo, he's going to end up on that PUP list. So you're going to have an extra spot. So CD Lamb, George Pickens, Kevontae Turpin, Tolbert is going to be there. Like I said, Jonathan Mingo will have a spot. Everybody like Trayshawn Holden. I like Trayshawn Holden. Is he really going to be better than over Ryan Flanoy? Because say what you want, Ryan Flanoy has actually been getting open. The damn quarterback can't get him the ball. That's been your issue. It's kind of been your issue going right there. So 6 receivers, that's tough. That's tough because I already got the 3. You probably throw in Tolbert and you probably throw in Mingo. That's 5. Who is your 6th guy? Between Brooks, Holden, and Ryan Flanoy, my money be they'll put Ryan Flanoy in. Now, like, we still got to – this is just right as of right now. The preseason is about to finish after the end of this Friday, and then we can really dig into it and see what's happening. But that's probably the 6 receivers I see them keeping. You already know CD Lamb, George Pickens, Kevontae Turpin. Jonathan Mingo, I think he was going to make a spot, but now that he's probably going to be on the PUP list. But I think he has that spot. But then you're going to have Jalen Tolbert, and I think you'll finish out with Ryan Flanoy. Now, with Mingo being on the PUP list, who do you give that extra spot to between Jalen Brooks and Trayshawn Holden? Who do you give that extra spot to? What up, Daniel? Appreciate you joining in the chat one time, showing in live, man. Cheers to you. We on some water because we still trying to kick out this sickness, you know what I'm saying? And the Rangers lost. Well. That's why y'all see me in the Texas tee, you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff. But that hurt again. But yeah, with Mingo basically most likely being on the PUP list, Jalen Brooks or Trayshawn Holden. I'm taking Trayshawn Holden, but I bet you they'll go Jalen Brooks. That's just as of right now. So now you got your 6 receivers, you had your 4 running backs. That's 10 plus the 3 quarterbacks. That's 13 right there. Now let's jump into the offensive line. How many? Oh, no. Tight end. Yeah. Tight end position. How many tight ends do you think they can keep? Again, running 3 quarterbacks out here because you don't have a number 2 quarterback is going to be the thing. You're basically going to have to sacrifice one of these position groups because you don't have a clear cut backup when you're going to have to run 3 quarterbacks out there. So tight end situation, and they actually have some depth right there. Now, are they going to run 4 tight ends or are they going to run 3? And to me, if Hunter Lupick is basically on this 53-man roster in the running back room, and we seen him play a lot of motion and he plays in the tight end spot, that basically you got a guy that can do 2 things: running back, tight end, and special teams possibly. Yeah, that's why I'm saying Hunter Lupick gets that roster spot. So with that being said, you're probably going to have 3 tight ends because you got Hunter Lupick as an extra option. Not to play tight end, but he can, in formations that you would have a tight end, he can play in those positions. So you're probably going to run 3 tight ends. We already know Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker is basically your 2 locked in ones. Who do you go after that? Tyler Neville, he showed all right, but I don't think they'll run with him. Fairweather, he did all right, but I can see them 2 easily being butted out. Now, you're 3 for that 1 spot. You're looking at John Stevens, Spanford, and Fant. That's tough. And looking at Spanford, bruh, he done had injury. But you know what? 6'7", 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, but that's hard to ignore. They really like Spanford too. They're really hoping that he can flourish. But I like John Stevens too, man. That's a toss-up between Spanford and Stevens. Fant, I think they like Fant, but I think if they had to go with something else, I think they'll take Spanford. I think that's going to be your 3 tight ends right there: Luke Schoonmaker, Jake Ferguson, and Spanford. I think that's your 3 tight ends. And like I said, with Hunter Lupick being in the running back field, he can also be in some of those tight end formations where they want to add extra tight ends. Is how I feel. So you add that in right there. Let's go offensive linemen. How many offensive linemen are you carrying? And now you already know you got Guyton on. You basically got Guyton who's going to be out. You know what I'm saying? So you got him recovering from injury right there. Basically what it is for the guard situation. Or it's going to really be tackle. Because I think they're good at guard. So Tyler Guyton will be there, but he's going to be on the PUP list, though. But you know he's going to be there. We already know Tyler Smith is going to be there. Cooper Beebe is going to be there. So Guyton, Smith, Beebe, Steele. And I'm pretty sure Hoffman and Bass are going to make the team, I believe. Just because they can play different positions. They have showed that they can play that center guard combination. So I see Bass. I see Hoffman making it. That it'll be more of the the right guard situation. But then you got Tyler Booker as well. So Basically, how many did I name? So you got Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, that's 2. Cooper Beebe, that's 3. Terrence Steele, that's 4. Hoffman, Bass, that's 6. Okay, after the 6, what do you look at? You're looking at the tackle spot because, like I said, Hoffman and Bass can both play guard. And then you got Tyler Smith along with Tyler Booker. You're really set on guards. Now, the center position, like I said, Hoffman or Bass can play that as well. So you kind of got that swing spot right there. So how many I say we at 6? Does Lyle Collins make the team? Would you rather see Nate Thomas? Y'all know I've been on the record and going hard for your boy Ozzie Richards, bro. I really have. But I ain't gonna lie, he has really not had that good of a preseason, bro. He has not, from lining up offsides and really getting handled in certain situations. He has not performed up to the way I believe that I thought he could be the steal, but it seemed like it might not be working that way for him. And like I said, I don't think the Cowboys really need guard. I think they're deep at guard. So to put him at tackle over Nathan Thomas, I would probably roll with Nathan Thomas. I still love Ozzie Richards, but I think they'll roll with Nathan Thomas right there. Now, what do you do for the other tackle situation? Now this is between a Johnny Cornelius, Hakeem Adeniji. Who are you keeping? Now, both of them to me had solid tape, damn sure, in the Ravens game. That both of them can play. I can see both of them being here. Johnny Cornelius, he did good work. Hakeem Adeniji, who would they go with? Because now I'm sitting at what, 8? Once we took yeah, so we're sitting at 8 offensive linemen. Once you put Nathan Thomas in there. Now it's just between Lyle Collins, Hakeem Adeniji, and a Johnny Cornelius. I think they'll take Hakeem Adeniji. So yeah, I see the line. That's 9. Could they do 10? If they did 10, I think they would keep. It would be between Johnny Cornelius and Lyle Collins. I think Lyle Collins has a fair shot to say he could possibly, if he could hang around, because he could do some other things, but I see it that way. Probably 9 offensive linemen. Let's say they keep 9 offensive linemen: Hoffman, Beebe, Guyton, Smith, Booker, Thomas, Bass, Hoffman, and Adeniji. It's probably where you're going to work at. Sadiq Charles, like I said, I think they're solid at guard. They got a lot of guards, bro. They're going to have to figure out who can stick at tackle. And basically their last tackle spot I'm looking at is going to go between a Cornelius, Adeniji, and basically Lyle Collins. And I think they'll take Hakeem in that thing. So that's 9 offensive linemen. Now let's switch it over to the defensive side, yo. Just want to go over the roster, see what it's going to look like. Possibly as it sits them now. Now, how many defensive linemen do you roll out? How many defensive tackles are you trying to keep more than anything? You know what I'm saying? How many defensive tackles are you trying to keep? I don't think you're trying to keep 5. There's no that hurts. Trying to keep 5 defensive tackles. Believe you're just going to keep 4. You're going to keep 4 defensive tackles, possibly 6 defensive ends. That gives you basically a total of 10 defensive linemen. And plus, you got a couple of defensive ends that can play inside. And I think that's what they're trying to do with Sam Williams. But you already know Nealon can play inside as well. Now, you get to that. I think we all know on the defensive line, Osa, Solomon Thomas, they're in there. That's 2 defensive tackles right there. I said, what? They're going to keep 4? Ooh. 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 Who do you keep? Who do you keep? Now, me personally, and I think a lot of Cowboys Nation will say, we can get rid of Mozzie. We can let that go. We can let him go. But 4 defensive tackles, like I said, you got Osa, Solomon Thomas. I don't know. I wouldn't. I can move on from Mozzie, but I take Winfrey for sure. I think Winfrey can make it. I think he can make it on the defensive tackle spot. Osa, Thomas, Winfrey. I don't know, bro. You might just have to be stuck with Mozzie, bro. That's 4 defensive tackles. You're probably stuck with Mozzie, yo. You're probably most likely stuck with him. Yeah, you're probably stuck with him. So 4 defensive tackles: Osa, Mozzie, Solomon Thomas, Pierre Winfrey. I see those 4 defensive tackles. Now you're looking for 6 defensive ends. We already know Michael Parsons is one of them. You got Dante Fowler as another one, so that's 2. I believe they're going to roll with Sam Williams as 3. We know Marshawn Nealon. That's another one, so that's 4. So now you're looking at 2 more extra spots. And that's coming down between Ernest Brown, Peyton Turner, Tyrus Wheat. I said 4. So actually, you got to put Donovan Ezeraku in there. So that's 5. You're right there at 5. If you're carrying 6 defensive end, now it's 1 spot for James Houston, Tyrus Wheat, Peyton Turner, Ernest Brown. 1 spot left. I'm taking James Houston. I'm taking James Houston over Peyton Turner. Ernest Brown looked like he played better, and it looks like he can play inside as well, where I wouldn't be opposed to that. I really wouldn't be opposed to that. Defensive tackle, I didn't even mention Jay Tote. Didn't even mention him. But, I was a little bit hard on him, but at the same time, you do look from week 1 to week 2, he did get better. It just wasn't that much better, but he did get better. And you got to keep in mind he's a rookie. But, yeah, 1 spot for defensive end, like I said. Do you take Tyrus Wheat? I like his motor. Peyton Turner got the measurables, but I don't know about him. Ernest Brown, to me, can play inside, and then you can possibly put him outside on certain situations. He can do more. But I think they should go with James Houston. So defensive line, Osa, Mozzie, Thomas, and Winfrey, with the defensive ends, Parsons, Fowler, Williams, Nealon, Ezeraku, Houston. 10 defensive linemen right there. So what we said, 10 plus the 9 offensive linemen, that's 19. You had the 3 quarterbacks, that's 22. I said 4 running backs. That's about 26. How many more what else did we add? About 6 receivers. That's about 32. 3 tight ends, 35. Now you go to linebacker. So you're sitting at about 35 players right now? If my math is correct. That brings us to the linebacker situation. Now, what we doing at linebacker, yo? They consider Dante Fowler as an outside linebacker? Mm. Mm. That's kind of funny. But they're going to play him at defensive end. That's basically what it is. He's going to be considered the defensive lineman. I think we all know this. Linebackers. Like I said, you about at 35. So if you have 5 more linebackers, that's going to take you to 40. It's taking you to 40 right there. So you basically trying to run with 5 linebackers. Maurice Leofau, we know he's one. Kenneth Murray will be another one. That's 2 of them. I think Damone Clark is showing what can be done in this system with Eberflus. I think he's probably gained another card to play on for us. So I see Damone Clark being in there as well. So that's 3 of them. So you got about 2 more spots. Jack Sanborn, I think he's in there as well. That gives you 4 backers. Now they have Buddy Johnson, Darius Harris, but I think that 5th spot should be for Shamar James. Hands down. Hands down. I don't even see. They didn't even list him on here. What the hell? I see Shamar James getting that 5th spot. So like I said, linebackers, if you're going to run with, like I said, you add 5, that's 40 at total right now. So Maurice Leofau, Kenneth Murray, Damone Clark, Jack Sanborn, and I would like to see Shamar James in there. That's 5 linebackers as I'm rolling with. So now, like I said, you're basically at 40. Cornerback situation. Yeesh. So, being at 40, looking at the corner spot and the safety spot, between them, you're going to have to basically carry 10 DBs. Basically. You're basically going to have to carry 10 DBs that get you to 50. And then you got your 3 special teamers. So, like I said, the quarterback position, since you don't have a clear-cut number 2, you have to spend another spot at basically a 3-club roster at the quarterback spot. That's unfortunate, but that's the world that we're going to live in. So you're sitting at 40, 6 deep, 6 corners, 4 safeties. That's 10 DBs that'll get you to 50. Let's run with it. Cornerback position, I think we all know, Diggs is there, but you got a lot of players that's on the, that's going to be on the PUP list, but he most likely won't be back as quick. So probably don't have to look at it, but let's see. We know DaRon Bland. That's 1. And it's gonna look bad, but y'all gotta understand though. At the same time, Kalen Carson, he's injured right now. Okay, he's injured. Diggs is injured. And then you got what's his name? What's his name? Cheval Revel Jr. So you really got 3 cornerbacks that's gonna be shelved here. So some things will change during the season. So I hate to inform y'all, but Andrew Booth most likely just secured his spot to start week 1. And I know a lot of y'all don't like to hear that, but that is just gonna be the truth. So you're gonna need 6 corners, 2 slot guys, 4 other corners to get you 6. So Bland, Elam, I see them 2. You're probably going to have Andrew Booth. That's 3. Christian Matthew, I think they just released him, I believe. So you got 3 with Booth added in there. Your slot, Kamon Hall. I know he's going to be in there. So that's 4. I don't see Pride making it. I don't see CJ Goodwin making it. And they just brought in another corner today from the UFL as well. with that, they already released the linebacker. I think they released who was it, Barron? Or was it another defensive back? They released somebody. I think it was Barron. I have to go back and look at it. I had to go back and look. So I'm sitting there at four corners with Bland, Elam, Booth, Hall at four. They got Israel Mukwamu listed as a safety, but I don't think you'll see him at safety. So you could possibly say he'll be at corner as well. So that'll give you 5 right there. Throwing Israel Mukwamu in there. Now you got room for one more spot. Do you add another slot guy? See, basically you got backup corners for Elam and Bland with Booth and Mukwamu. Hall is your slot guy, so you probably have to add a backup to him. And me personally, I've been saying it for a while. I'm rolling with Zion Childress. That is my 6 corners right there. Just start the season. Bland, Elam, backing both of those guys up. Mukwamu, Booth, and then your 2 slot guys, Hall and Zion Childress. I like what I seen from Zion Childress. So that's 6 defensive backs. That's at 46. Got to give me 4 safeties. And that's Malik Hooker. I think we already know this. This is already easy. Malik Hooker, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, and Donovan Wilson. I think that's easy. That's your 4 safeties right there. That puts you at 50 men right there. And then there goes your special teamers right there. Brandon Aubrey as your kicker, Brian Anger as your punter, and Trent Sigg as your long snapper. That's the 53-man roster I'm seeing as of right now. Now, like I said, you're going to have plenty more corners come off the PUP list. You're sitting over there with 3 corners that's hurt like that. If Joe Milton could just shown any type of, any type of consistency of being good, I think they would have just rolled with 2 quarterbacks out there. But unfortunately, they're going to have to roll with 3. The tricky one will be the offensive line, what they do with it. How do they really want to do the running back tight end situation? Because I think that running back room is real crowded. Real crowded. But it's some things that can be done right there. Like I said, they do get ready to play they will be in action this weekend or this Friday against the Atlanta Falcons. And my big takeaway, like I said, with Joe Milton not being able, they giving him all the reps and all the starting, and for him not to be able to seize the moment, I think that's setting them back where, they're going to have to put in an extra roster spot for the quarterback situation just because they don't have a backup quarterback. And that's unfortunate going into a season that you pay the quarterback a lot of money that he's going to have all the stress on. I think the offensive line is actually solid. I think the guard play, they are actually deep there. You got Tyler Smith, you got Bass, you got Hoffman that can play center as well. So they can play center and guard. And then you got Tyler Booker right there as well. So guard situation, they're good. And I believe center, they're good. It's just going to be the tackle situation. What do they feel more comfortable with? Of course, you're going to have Tyler Guyton in there, but at this and Terrence Steele now, who gets the backup for them too? You might only get 1 tackle out of that. It just depends how it all falls down. Now, the running back and tight end situation is the situation because, like I said, I can see them keeping Stevens, I can see them keeping Fant, and I can see them keeping Span 4. I think Span 4 would win it, but with Hunter Lupick being able to do a lot much more, I think that is what is going to help them for that. Try to fill that position. Corner-wise, I'm sorry, y'all. Like I said, Andrew Booth is going to be on this team. To the much chagrin or not. much to the chagrin or not, bro, he's gonna be here. So, man, I've still been under the weather. I've been going back and forth if I'm thinking about going to this practice tomorrow because they really don't do nothing. But you know what? Fuck it. Just to be in the mix, we might as well do it. So I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, not having a true backup is the reason you're gonna have to roll 3 quarterbacks out here. And that's a damn shame. The running back situation, I'm sorry, you're gonna get a running back that you probably like that is not gonna make it. Like I said, I don't see Deuce Vaughn making it. I really don't, I don't see how they get rid of Maffa to keep Miles Sanders. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see that. But, the Jones is the Joneses, so they going Jones. That's one thing we know. The Jones is going Jones, so let them Jones. But, like I said, I think the offensive line is actually going to be pretty decent. Now, do you hope Hakeem Adeniji can hold it down over there? Because somebody got to take that spot over there while Tyler Guyton is out. And I think Nathan Thomas is actually going to do pretty good. It's just the backup spot it's really the backup tackle position. What do you want to do behind Terrence Steele? Are you going to roll with, Lyle Collins? Are you going to roll with Cornelius? Are you going to roll with Adeniji? Or, you know what I'm saying? Who do you really run out there and who are you really running with? So I think that's probably the only question mark they got to have. But squeezing in from the tight end and the running back situation, I think that's something they got to close down hard on. Receiver-wise, it's been hard to actually get an evaluation because your quarterback can't actually be accurate with the ball at all times. But he tries. We need him to try harder enough so we can get that evaluation. But I'm telling you, receiver-wise, I would like to see Trayshawn Holden there, but like I said, with Mingo going down and probably being out early in the season, I think that saved Tolbert's job. And with Tolbert able to get an extra move, now I think that actually opened up the door for Jalen Brooks to hang on that could possibly bump out Trayshawn Holden, because basically you're going between Jalen Brooks or you're going between Ryan Flanoy and Trayshawn Holden, basically as your last receiver that you want to try to keep. Who do they keep? Linebacker wise, like defensive end, I think defensive tackle, like I said, I think we're ready to move on from Mozzie. But like I said, you're probably going to have to carry 4 defensive tackles and then 6 defensive ends. So with 4 defensive tackles, like I said, Solomon Thomas, Osa, I like Winfrey. And probably just because they drafted them and they're spending money on them, they're going to let Mozzie roll out there. So that's 4 defensive tackles. Your defensive ends, who's the last spot? You had a lot of good defensive end. Peyton Turner, like I said, I would take James Houston over him. He would get that last spot for me. And the last spot of the linebacker rotation, I would take Shamar James in there. That is what I'm taking. That is what I'm running with and taking to the bank. Cornerback position, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all going to have to deal with Andrew Booth until the cavalry comes. Till the cavalry be able to get back. Once the cavalry get back, you won't see Booth. You probably won't see Kwamu neither, unless he's on the special teams. But then they'll have to make some more adjustments to that. But, Friday's coming up. Hopefully this week, I shake this sickness and we can try to get to some more film study probably of the Atlanta Falcons. Go ahead and get into them and see what we're going to be up against. I want to do that last week, but we got a little bit sick. Let's see if we're up to the task to do it. You already know Wednesdays, we're going to do a full DFW slate going over every team in the DFW from Cowboys, Rangers, Stars, Mavericks, Wings, probably even some FC Dallas, and it's some Texas high school football that's going down, getting ready for gear up in the area. Football season is amongst us, but so we're going to really turn up for football season. It is really the American sport. And in Texas, it's a whole nother breed that we do down here. And we live football, and this is just what we do. But looking at, I told you, 53-man roster. A lot of people are wanting Jay. Like I said, I'm cool with moving Mozzie out of there, but this front office is not going to cut their losses like that. Although I think they should, I don't think they will. So the defensive tackle spot, I think, is basically solidified with the guys you got, as in Osa, Thomas, Smith. But the extra one, I would take Winfrey probably over the rest of the guys. That's me. In defensive end, I think James should get in there I think he should get that last spot in there because who you rocking with the defense is? How many did we say? We said 6 from Parsons, Williams, Nealon. That's 3. Fowler, that's 4. Ezaraku, that's 5. So you only got one more spot right there. And I think James Houston should get that. Linebacker wise, Maurice Leofow, Kenneth Murray Jr., Jack Sanborn. Who else did we say? Damone Clark, and then I think Shamar James should be in there. I think he should. Which that can be a form of the linebacking core if your defensive line can hold up steady. So you can't roll that many defensive tackles out there. Like I said, you're going to have to run with 10, possibly 10 defensive linemen, 10 defensive backs. And then you run with 5 linebackers. That's 20. That's 25 of your defense right there. That's 25 of your defense. It's gonna be hard, man. It's only gonna be hard because I think the receiving room, we didn't really get a good look at our receivers that we wanted to because we can't throw them the damn football. I think that's an issue and that's a problem for us. But other than that, the roster is what it's going to be. I still think that even though naming out this roster, as I said, as a 53 that could be projected as of right now, I still see they have multiple holes in there because you're looking at your 2 deep on the defense side because we don't have no trust in Mozzie like that. We really don't. I think Osa and Thomas is going to be nice combination. But after that, you're going to have to bring in Mozzie. You're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? That's Winfrey, I think, can do some things, but, you know, that's just going to be a tough situation. Defensive ends, I think they're actually going to be all right there. Linebacker-wise, until you can get Overshown back, Shamar James is basically going to have to hold that last spot until you can get the cavalry coming back for the corners. Y'all going to have to see Andrew Booth, bro. Now, I think Kwamu can actually, you know, giving him some more reps, I think he can possibly do some more things. I'm hoping he can do some more things because, you know, his size, his length, he's been here for a minute, but he ain't really got the opportunity like that. It's going to be his opportunity because week 1, bro, it's not, you know, and we just got found out that they're having a watch party at the AT&T Stadium. I did say I was going to live stream the first game of the season. Normally, me and my brothers, we normally go somewhere, but I thought about changing that up this year. Why go out and spend some money? But this is going to be free. So maybe we'll be in the trenches at AT&T grounds with the monks of Cowboy fans watching this game. Although it's probably going to be like 95 degrees out there at goddamn 9 o'clock, bro. That's just how it be. But the 53, I'm really here to say, bro, there, you know, it's a 53 that is top heavy. If they can stay healthy, which is the question, okay, maybe 9 wins. But I still think they're going to have to put up points because I still think the secondary is in trouble. Now, Elam is doing good. Now you're just going to have to wonder about the slot situation. Is Hall and Childress, are they going to be really guys that you feel that can actually stand the task? Are they going to be able to do that? But that all depends on your pass rush. If your pass rush is good, your secondary can benefit from it. So that's really what you're hoping for. Can the D-line get that pressure? So with that being said, do we need to sign Michael Parsons? Yeah. Yes. I think that is a definitely, indubitably yes. Jerry, let's stop playing, bro. Let's stop playing and start paying. Now, he's gonna say we're paying Dak Prescott. You know, I don't like the way you players is trying to hem me up, although you trying to muscle him up into some certain type of deal. But you know, you give a person an inch, they'll try to run off with the whole damn ruler. So you're playing in that type of tug of war right there that you have. But it's plain and simple to see. Receiver wise, like I said, who do you take? Do you take Holden or do you take Ryan Flournoy? Because that's basically going to be the last receiver spot right there. And knowing Flournoy's been getting open. He The ball ain't accurately being thrown to him. So I think Flournoy is probably going to take that last spot as a receiver. I think so. I think. And like I said, your running back room, you're really probably going to just really run with 3 running backs, but Hunter Lupick is going to take one of those spots, and he can play tight end. So Hunter Lupick is one dude that's basically taking 2 roster spots because he can play running back and he's going to play running back, fullback type, and he can be in the tight end spot. So probably going to carry 3 tight ends and 4 running backs. So that's kind of just who's your third tight end. That's something that, and I think span 4 because he's 6'7". If he can ever stay healthy, he's been dinged up dealing with injuries and stuff like that. If he can ever stay healthy, then they're going to really rock with him. They're going to rock with him. What time we got? Almost 10 o'clock. Okay. What else? What should we talk about tomorrow? But the 53 man is clear cut. I don't want to say clear cut. There's about three spots on here that you can say that they're really gonna have to pay attention to. But like I said, had Joe Milton actually been worth a damn, they would easily get rid of Real Greer and they'll just run with 2 quarterbacks. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to have that spot because we don't have a backup quarterback. And I don't think, unless Joe Milton come out here, throw for 4 touchdowns and 350 yards, they're running with 3 quarterbacks. Like I said, we already know the safeties, the special teams. Like I said, linebacker-wise, I think we all know Shamar James should be up in there. But basically, hopefully when Overshawn get back, he will probably be the one that lose his spot to Overshawn. That's about set right there, bro. That's about set. Ooh, what else we got going on? Let me look into the Dallas Morning News real quick. Or should I hit the X up? Y'all let me know. What's really popping? Let me see if there's any articles that have been dropped. Y'all know Jerry the Gambler and his Cowboys shit pop off on Netflix tomorrow. So basically, after we come back from the open practice, I'm basically only going. I ain't even going for the content. I'm going to just see if I can get some Oklahoma players to sign one of my towels for my lovely wife. That's it. That's really the span for her. Yeah, buddy. I'm just surfing, seeing what's going down. I don't see anything else new. I'm just really trying to stick on the Cowboys. I could go on about my Rangers right now, but bruh, they ass is in the dirt. It's about done for the sport of summer, man. They about in the dirt. Trying to see what's some things to look for when we play against the Falcons coming up. I'd have to look at their tape. I'm gonna have to study their tape here probably from Wednesday and Thursday. Probably do some tape to if y'all want, we can have, like I said, I like doing some live film sessions, so watch sessions. So if y'all want, I was supposed to do this last week. Nigga, shake off this sickness and do everything at the house like he's supposed to. It'd probably be a late night session, but we probably can still pop some things off and look at some tape over the Atlanta Falcons, see what they got going when they come down to town. Let's see what the good old Twitter is saying. I ain't been on Twitter all day. I was earlier, but I ain't. Let's see. Boy, Rangers lost, boy. Motherfuckers in the comments. Ooh-wee. I tried to tell y'all need to be okay. Anyway. Oh, I understand the question. Whether Dak Prescott should play in the preseason. He's 8-5 as a starter in September since 2021. No preseason in 2020. To me, Prescott has to have playoff success. I don't know what Calvin Watkins really talking about. Oh, it's a PCL for Jonathan Mingo. Talking about he want the last two practices to be physical at the Star. Man, them boys don't be practicing, fam. I'll take that back. I'll take that back. I ain't gonna say nothing. God dang. Rangers for the 64th time in 126 games, they scored 3 or fewer runs. I told folk that offense in trouble, but you're just an emotional Texas Ranger fan. Oh, okay. 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 Like I said, the corner that they signed, who Michael Ajumana Moutier, Michael Moutier. You just here to fill in time for this last preseason game, I think. I think that's what that's all about. I think that's what that's all about. Man, that's basically all I got for today. But I'm just trying to figure out what we're gonna do tomorrow, man. Tomorrow I already said it. Basically, we'll be live at the Star, so that'd be kind of our content going in. So check it out. Y'all already know if you already subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell. We will be at the Star in Frisco, checking out open practice, open ceremony for the Dallas Cowboys season that's getting ready to kick off. I've been feeling bad, and I'm like, bro, I don't really want to deal with it. It's supposed to be over 100 damn degrees tomorrow with a heat index in there. So it's one of those situations like I need to get there early so I can get the parking spot. But then you got to get ready to stand in line. It's like being out there at Six Flags, yo, and like it's a busy day. It's a long, bro. The sun gonna eat your ass up. So let me get me some extra fans up in that thing. Bring with me. Probably bring my charger. I won't go that long. I won't go the whole practice live just for the simple fact they don't really be doing nothing. But I'll just be in the mix, sitting there talking and doing some things. So if y'all want to chime in, go ahead and chime in. Wednesday, like I said, for all my DFW sports fans, we'll be kicking off a whole bunch of sports flavor over all the teams in the DFW Wednesday. And then hopefully Thursday we can get us a film session looking over the Atlanta Falcons before they come to town Friday. And then Friday we'll have post game Falcons and Cowboys reaction as we get ready to get to the main 53. So that's how we're gonna ride with that one, man. And I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. But other than that, man, it's been good to get some things up off his chest. Football season, I'm telling you, we're gonna kick it up another notch. We're gonna be doing a lot of things. Like I said, hit the notification bell. We will be at the Star tomorrow for the opening ceremony, the opening practice down there at the Star in Frisco. So I believe practice start at 6 o'clock. So we'll probably go live by around 6:30ish or something like that. So stay tuned, keep it locked. We will be behind the trenches, and I think I'm trying to think how we're going to actually live stream the Philadelphia and Eagles and Cowboys season opener. Should we go to AT&T Stadium and be amongst in the crowd and do something like that again, or should we just do it at the crib? So y'all let me know. But until then, man, keep watching the videos. We'll drop some more shorts off of here. Just stay tuned, stay locked, man. I'm just a dude that's I ain't claiming to be no expert or nothing like that. I'm just a dug in sports fan that represent from where he from. That's basically how we get down. I'm representing where he from. I thought I turned my blitz on for y'all, but I left it off, so it's all good. But this is where he from. So yeah, we gonna rep the Cowboys, and you see, he's like, why you got Texas Rangers? You just look at the decor, you see where we at. It's just football season. It's time to probably get off the Rangers, even though I got a few more games to go to because of my season plan. But yeah, we'll do it that way. But yeah, man, fun times, bro. The 53-man roster, I think I can see it kind of being clear. I see it being set. It's just all depending on how we're gonna move forward from that, and if you able to keep some more dudes healthy. But like I said, 3 quarterbacks on the roster, that's kind of hurting. One is going to I think it's probably going to hurt the tight end on the receiver spot. Because if you could have been able to have a backup quarterback and roll 2 quarterbacks out there, I think you're able to make sure Trayshawn Holden makes that roster. But now that you got 3 quarterbacks, it's going to kind of limit you right there. It's going to limit you a receiver or it's going to limit you a running back. Either one of those. And I think, they're going to have some kind of struggles with what they want to do with the running back, but I don't think Miles Sanders makes it. Even if they guaranteed him a contract, it was probably low anyway. I don't think he makes it. I really do see Phil Maffa making it. I think they like what they see in him. We know Jaden Blue is going to make it. Javonte Williams is in there. Yeah, we see that. And like I said, you got Hunter Lupick in there, Swiss Army knife. He's going to be able to be in there. So I'm sorry, y'all. Andrew Booth is going to be rolling out there week 1 going against the Philadelphia Eagles. To your much chagrin and mine too, he's going to be rolling out there. So, hey, don't, hey, take it up with the Joneses, not me. Take it up with the Joneses, not me. Oh, man, hopefully we shake this sickness, get a little sweat out and everything like that. But like I said, man, tune in. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be live at the Star at Frisco, man. Y'all can catch me there. Until the meantime, in between time, y'all know my slogan, man. Before I say that, if you didn't catch all of this, catch the replay. And if you catch the replay, hit the like button. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know how you feel. We're going to keep dropping Cowboys content along with more DFW sports content. So now, with that being said, let me go ahead and end it off the right way. And y'all know how it is. Hopefully y'all had a great start to y'all Monday. But make sure you end it off with the love, because love always wins. And y'all know what that means. That's the law. With that, I'm out, y'all.
Self-made independent, I'm all about my businesses. I consistently continue to bring energy and know that keep it popping like I'm full of electricity. Try to hold me out, I wish you would have the audacity. Take a reflexive, now I'm shitting on the industry. Self-made, not a title, cause it's my identity. And wear it on my skin like it's a part of my ethnicity. Mary keep on blowing like instruments in the symphony. They keep a player buzzing like Twitter when you mention me. Being 100's a everyday living tendency, and ain't faced by hating, it makes me increase my intensity.